Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited. I know I say that in a lot of my videos, but I'm so excited today because I'm filming with my new camera. It finally came in, and this is the first tutorial I'm filming since forever. It's been a long time, and so for today's video, it's going to be kind of lengthy because there was just a lot of information I felt like throwing into this video since I'm just excited to be recording. Today's tutorial is going to be on long wearing event makeup. So you could technically do this look or the foundation portion for bridal makeup or just any day when you know you're going to be wearing your makeup for a long time. And trust me, I have tried this foundation routine in the past. I've worn it for longer than I should have, maybe like 8 to 12 hours, and it has stayed put. And as for the actual makeup, this is the look that I wore to Desi and Katie's launch party with Dose of Colors this past Saturday. If you follow me on Snapchat and Instagram, you've already seen this because you guys all requested a tutorial for it. If you aren't following me there, go ahead and check me out. You can't click on this, so I don't know why I'm pointing at it. But if you don't follow me there, go ahead and give me a follow. And let's just jump right into it, shall we? So I'm going to jump right into the tutorial, and I'm going to show you guys what I used to prep my skin. Today I used my favorite LALA Retro Whipped Cream by Drunk Elephant, and for an eye cream I've been using this new one from BELIF, and I really love it. It's super creamy and really hydrating and super soothing, and it works great underneath makeup, especially if you have really dry under eyes. I highly recommend it. Now to prime my skin, I'm going to be using this new SMASHBOX Photo Finish Primerizer. I opened this in my unboxing video, and I've been using it for a while now while I was waiting for my new camera to come in, and I really like it. Definitely try and target your specific skin concerns. For me, I start to get really dry if I leave makeup on all day, and then my foundation looks really dry and cracked, especially around this area, and I get a little oily on my T-zone, but not to the point where it bothers me. I kind of like looking a little oily. But if you are more towards the oily side and you find it breaking up your makeup, then I would use a primer to help control the oil. The one that I used to use got discontinued, so can't recommend it anymore. But I do love the Urban Decay, what is it called? But this is the Urban Decay De-Slick Primer. I've used it in previous videos. I only apply it to the T-zone when I want a little extra oil control, but it does a really good job at filling in pores. It is on the heavier side, so I would only apply it where needed, not completely all over the entire face. Anyway, back to the primerizer. I'm gonna go ahead and apply a couple pumps of this all over the face. It is very fluid. It's not thick at all, which is why I like it. It's very hydrating, and it does the job without feeling like you have a lot on the skin. And for foundation, I'm using the DIOR Star Foundation. Let me just tell you guys, this foundation has been tested because I wore it this one day in particular where I had events all day long, starting really early in the morning, going into the evening. And I knew I wasn't gonna be able to come home to touch up my makeup, redo it. It was gonna be on my face all day long, essentially. And the last event of the day was at 9 p.m. I met up with all my friends, and they were like, your foundation still looks really good considering you've had it on all day. Because I was like, yeah, I've had it on for like 12 hours. So there's something crazy like that. I never wear my foundation or my makeup for that long. And even when I got home, I was like, I don't even want to wash it off. It looks really good. And my skin had gotten a little oily, but to the point where it looked nice. It looked dewy. It didn't look overly oily. So I love this foundation because it has been tested and it lasts. So I'm going to be using this for today. I'm just going to go ahead and apply it with a beauty blender. I might have to mix in shade number 41 just to darken it up a bit because I do have a little bit of a tan going, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of this darker shade, but not too much. Start going in. Moving on to concealing and highlighting, I have gotten back into Shape Tape. I loved it when it first came out, and then I just started playing with other concealers and forgot about this one, and I was really frustrated with how creasy my under eyes have been getting lately. I don't know if it's because I've been a little more sweaty because of summer and how hot it is. And no matter how much powder I would set my under eyes with, they would still crease. So I was like, you know what? It's time to bust out Shape Tape again. And I forgot how amazing this concealer is. It is literally budge proof. It's full coverage. It doesn't crease. If you have really creasy under eyes like I do, this is gonna be your best friend. I highly recommend it. And I use the shade Light Medium. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this to highlight and conceal. I've been into using a little less concealer. So I start right here on the inner corner and just swipe it this way. Add a little right here tiny bit on the Cupid's bow and a smidge right here, and that's it. I almost forgot, I also take the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer in the shade SC4 because I really like the orange correcting shade on this side, and I just pick it up with my finger and cover up the dark spots before I blend out the Shape Tape, just so it doesn't show through when I blend out the Shape Tape since it is a lighter shade. I don't want it to look gray or blotchy in that area. The orange correcting concealer will help to further cover it up. And now that I've added that, I'm just gonna add a little more going this way just to make sure it covers up that correcting concealer I just used. And then again, Beauty Blender or not Beauty Blender, this one's by Ofra. Oh my God, I've been doing Ofra dirty like that. This is an Ofra sponge, not Beauty Blender. I've really been loving it. It's all I've been using lately. It's just really, really soft and it feels a lot smoother than a Beauty Blender. I just really like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. And then I take whatever's left over on the sponge and then I add that to the forehead and any other areas that I think need a little more highlighting. Also, I'm not blending any of my concealer onto my eyelids because I am going to be using a cream eyeshadow as my base, and when I add concealer to the lids or even foundation and then try going in with an eyeshadow base like an eyeliner or a cream eyeshadow, it just creates a lot of buildup and it can make the eyes look really heavy. So instead I just work around the eye area and leave the actual lid bare. FYI. So now I'm going to be setting with powder, and I'm going to be using two different setting powders. I've been using the Laura Mercier one underneath my eyes just to further prevent creasing, even though with Shape Tape you barely crease up. This is just an extra precaution when you're going to be wearing your makeup all day, especially at a big event. So I just take that same damp Beauty Blender. Oh my God, I think I grabbed, it's empty. Let me grab another. I have like 3 backups for this one, so hold on, let me grab my other one. So to apply the Laura Mercier powder, I use that same damp Beauty Blender that I was using to apply my foundation. I take the pointed tip and I just press it right underneath the eyes. And I'll even take this powder and press it into my laugh lines and around the nose. So I'm not baking, I'm not applying any excess powder, I'm just really pressing it in until it kind of disappears on the skin. And then same thing with the laugh lines and around the nose. And then on the rest of the face, I'm using the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. The reason I'm using this one and not the Laura Mercier powder is because this one is a little more forgiving on the skin. It isn't as drying. It doesn't contain talc, whereas the Laura Mercier one does, which is why it does such a good job at setting, because of that talc. It just further locks everything in place. And this one, I feel like, doesn't dry up your skin, whereas if I apply the Laura Mercier one all over, eventually I'll start to feel really dry and tight. So to apply this powder, I just take a poof. This one's from LH Cosmetics. I dip it into the powder, like so. And once you have a good amount of powder on the poof, you just do this little motion to really work it into the poof. And then you just press and roll onto the skin. It's very old school. This technique has been around forever, but it just really gets the powder into the foundation without messing it up, and it creates a really nice light layer of powder versus the sponge where you can get a little heavy-handed with it. And I cover my entire face with this powder. And before moving on to the eyes, I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze a little. This is another old favorite, the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. I think during the move, since I had to go through all my makeup and reorganize and get rid of old makeup, it reminded me of a lot of my old favorites. So I used to use this one all the time in my tutorials from the very beginning, and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, and if I need a little more, I'll go back in at the end and add more bronzer, but I always like to add bronzer before eyes because if not, I focus on how flat and pale I look without it. And I'm actually gonna add a little bit of highlighter right now as well because I feel like it. I'm gonna be using Master Chrome by Maybelline. You guys, this highlighter, if you were obsessed with the Glow Down, the eyeshadow that I recommended in a previous video, this is like the Glow Down times 10. I mean, first of all, it's an actual highlighter, so it's a giant, but it just gives your skin a really nice, wet, glossy look. And I'm just really impressed by this product. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little, and then we're gonna go into eyes. Okay, so we also want to focus on making the eyeshadow last. We want it to stay in place and not crease. So an eyeshadow base is really important, and this is why I really love these magnetic matte eye pencils by NUDSTIX. I'm going to be using the shade TERRA today because the look I'm doing is more neutral and towards the warm brown side. So this is going to be perfect. So I'm going to apply this to my lash line and then blend it up towards the crease. So you can see it doesn't have that much color to it, but it's really going to make a difference when applying the shadow on top. Going into this palette, I'm going to be using this shadow right here as a transition shade and to further blend out that cream eyeshadow. So I'm just applying this color to the crease and just further buffing out the edges of the cream eyeshadow. I'm also going to be applying this to the lower lash line. And then using that same brush, I'm going to pick up the darker shade right next to it. And I'm going to apply this to the inner and outer corners, creating sort of a spotlight eye. And again, also applying this shadow to the lower lash line, just to connect that color back up into the crease. I'm just grabbing a larger fluffy blending brush and I'm going to buff around the edges. And on the center of the lid, I'm going to be using this Ideal Duo by Dose of Colors in the shade Magic Moment. This is from the Mint For You collection. I'm going to start with the cream eyeshadow side. I'm just going to pick it up with my fingertip, just swirl it around. And then the area that doesn't have any eyeshadow on it, I'm just going to press it on to that part of the eye. And right after you apply the cream eyeshadow, you can apply the pigment right on top. Again, just using my fingertip. So it's not like a perfect spotlight eye where the very center is highlighted. Adding that eyeshadow to the inner and outer corner is just giving it that extra dimension versus just a straight shimmery lid, and I really like that effect. And I'm just grabbing that same brush that has the darker eyeshadow on it and buffing out the edges. Now I'm just taking this SILKISSIME liner by L'Oreal. It's still my favorite for creating that really ultra dark edgy waterline. I don't know how long wearing it is. I mean, I wore it all night and it didn't move, but I don't know if you were to cry if it would smudge. My long wearing go-to black eyeliner is the Marc Jacobs one, which I will link below for you guys. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in my waterline, upper and lower, with this guy. And then with a brush, I'm just smudging out whatever eyeliner trickled over the waterline to create a softer effect. And then I'm gonna load up on a ton of my Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara, let it dry a little bit, pop on some lashes, fill in my brows, and then I'll be back to complete the rest of the look. And we're back. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the look. And to me, to this day, the longest lasting blush are still the Tarte 12-Hour blushes. I'm gonna be using Celebrated because it's like a muted pink, and I'm gonna go for a really pinky nude lip. So I like the blush and the lip to match. I'm gonna go ahead and just pop this on my cheeks, and then notice I didn't add any mascara to my lower lashes just yet because I stopped to use a setting spray, and I wanna finish with all the rest of the powder on my skin before doing that. And if I spray while I have mascara on my lower lashes, it's a disaster. So I always wait till I'm done with the rest of the face. I also want to add a little bit of a glow all over the face. So I'm going to go in with this Ambient Lighting Bronzer by Hourglass in the shade Luminous Bronze Light, which is a very shimmery bronzer. I'm going to pop that onto the forehead and the apples of the cheeks. And before I add more highlighter, I want to mist myself with this Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray. Again, Urban Decay also has the best setting sprays. They are made in partnership with Skindinavia, which has always been like the holy grail bridal makeup setting spray, so you know this stuff works. And I prefer Chill because it's more so hydrating. All Nighter is also great. I've used it before, but I just like the fact that Chill adds some hydration. So I'm gonna mist myself and then add a tad bit more of Maybelline's Master Chrome. And to really make the highlight pop, I like adding it when the skin is still a little tacky and wet from that setting spray. So right now is the perfect time. I'm just gonna pop a little more on the high points of the cheeks. And finally, for the lip, I'm using one of the new Hourglass lipsticks in the shade The First Time, and I'm also gonna outline my lip with CURVII lip liner, which is a part of the ILUVSARAHI ColourPop collaboration. Oh, and of course, mascara on the lower lashes to complete this look. And with a spoolie brush, I just lift the lashes so they're not touching underneath the eye. And I also grab some more of that translucent powder from Mercier, and I just apply it to the tips so that it doesn't transfer throughout the day. And here is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know it might have been lengthy and very talkative, but again, I'm just super excited to be back filming again with this new camera. So comment down below on any requests you might have. I know I asked that of you guys a lot, but this channel is for you. I do this content for you guys, so I always gotta check in and see what you guys wanna see. So let me know in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my future uploads, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.